Hi guys, I'm Manvir Singh Anand, the Catering Success Evangelist and Event Hospitality Expert, founder and CEO of Night Gourmet Services and an author of the best-selling book, Catering Your Way to Financial Independence. And I'm on a mission to create 100,000 self-employed professionals in the food services industry. So welcome again to the Catering Success Podcast, where in each episode we'll be sharing a step-by-step process for you to start a thriving catering business. In today's episode, we'll be sharing about the different niche you can explore within the catering industry and how you'll have to evolve and differentiate yourself from the competition by building your micro niche. So let's dive in and discuss the key questions which come to your mind when you're building your niche. First of all, why do you need a niche in the catering industry? I heard this beautiful quote some time back which says, "Commit yourself to a niche, stop trying to be everything to everyone." That's exactly how I feel and how I recommend to other new gen caterers that long gone are the times where one shirt could fit all sizes. With growing industry, you can have an advantage of having a set niche of clients and the type of events you focus on. This will give you an edge not only in terms of your expectations, and it will also give you an edge in terms of the kind of events which will come to you. For example, in my case, we always positioned our company to be a corporate events catering company. And this gave us a massive leverage over other competitors who were doing everything for everyone. So, like I said, building a niche is critical to you to survive in this industry. Second question, what are the different niche available in the catering industry? There are broadly 5 different niches available in the catering industry, starting with first weddings, which is synonymous with catering in India. You speak to any layman, the only sort of catering he or she would remember is about wedding catering, which in itself is a large business in India. But otherwise, there are 4 other kinds of niche available in the catering industry. So the second is social events, which includes your housewarming parties, your kiddie parties, your house parties, your pre-wedding events, and so on and so forth. Again, a very altogether detailed niche which you can try and get into. Third is live events, which can start from sports leagues to cultural events, literature festivals, and so on and so forth. A very big niche in itself. Fourth, industrial catering, which is a sub-part of corporate catering, which includes industry-wise catering to specific industries, focusing from automobile to pharmaceutical and so on and so forth. So like I said, industrial catering is more of the format of corporate catering essentially. Fifth is institutional catering, wherein which you start with your schools, colleges, campuses, and so on and so forth. That is what comprises institutional catering. So these 5 categories, which is weddings, social events, live events, industrial catering, institutional catering, comprise the 5 different niche you can build for yourself in the catering industry. But this brings me to the third question, which is very important, which is, what are the factors which will determine what niche you pick for yourself? Now, this is a very critical question for each and every one of you. And I have a 3-pointed focus with respect to how you can pick up your niche. First is about what is the network you have as of now. It will determine how you will get your first client. Second, what is the experience you come with? So if hypothetically, I keep mentioning every now and then that I had capability in doing very good B2B sales. So I leveraged that to build a good B2B business, which was focusing around school principals, teachers, and then admin executives to now event companies broadly. Then third, what is the size of pocket? Now this is more critical when you're doing indoor catering. While the podcast is dedicated towards outdoor catering in entirety, however, I would just like to highlight here that size of the pocket, when I say, becomes critical when you're working on a high credit business. So if you're working in the corporate events catering business, or if you're working in the industrial catering business, you need to understand that you'll need some working capital, just so that if you get a corporate client who has a 35-40 day credit period, so you need to have that amount of working capital with you to be able to service that client irrespective. So you need to assess your size of the pocket in that case. So like I said, these 3 points, which is your network, your prior experience, the inherent skills, or what I can say you come with, and the third is the size of your pocket. How much are you willing to invest? Depends on the kind of niche you can build for yourself. Lastly, brings me to, is having your niche enough? Do you think having a broad niche is enough to survive in the catering industry? Absolutely not. According to me, you have to go a step deeper and explore your micro niche. For example, if you choose wedding as your niche, you need to understand what kind of different type of communities exist within that niche. You can't do wedding catering for anyone and everyone. For example, in Indian context, I will mention that there are multiple communities, starting from an Arya Samaj community to a Sikh community, to a Hindu community, to a Christian community, to a Muslim community, and so on and so forth. Now, the leverage for you as a budding caterer is that you, instead of focusing on doing everything for everyone, you start focusing on building a niche. For example, if you just focus on building your niche for catering to the Jain community. So Jain community in itself can be a 150 crore business in any vicinity of the country, for that matter. And if you are able to build a market leadership in that should suffice for you becoming a success in the catering business, irrespective. Similarly, in the social events category, your micro niche can be kitty parties, housewarming events, small house parties, religious gatherings like what you call as satsang or religious prayers, whatever, in that particular gamut of services. Social events, again, you have to focus on these specific niche and try to build your market leadership in that segment. In the live event segments, which I have been very proud of being a part of, where you can focus on either concerts, literature festivals, sports leagues, and so on and so forth. This can really help you distinguish yourself from the market. So for example, when I sit with a client and I tell them that, hypothetically, I have been part of say 5 sports leagues and I understand the business really well. I can be positioned as a player who specializes in doing sports leagues of any size, of any scale for that matter. It gives me an edge over any other competition per se in the market. Fourth, in the industrial or the corporate events catering, in the industrial and the corporate catering category I was mentioning about, you can have an industry specific approach where when I say that, I basically mean to say that probably if you can explore like an automobile industry or a pharmaceutical industry or an IT enabled services industry, and each one of them in itself can be a large market in itself. Come to think of it, if you only focus on the automobile industry and today you're working with a Maruti Suzuki, that will immediately give you an access to a Kia Motors, to a Honda Motors, and so on and so forth. So things like these, if you start focusing on these specific niche, then there's a bigger market which can come up from the auto ancillary space in itself, which again can augment your business. So having that niche will really help you. Lastly, about the institutional segment, wherein which you can consider a segment-wise bifurcation from kindergarten schools to senior secondary schools to colleges to polytechnic colleges. And let me tell you, I know of a lot of caterers within my niche, within my business, who are exploring these niche and are doing relatively well for themselves compared to caterers who pick up anything and everything, or probably have that image of doing anything and everything. So it's very important and critical for you that while you're trying to build your niche, you need to also know what is the micro niche you can focus on. I call this as the ABC model. That is, A being outdoor catering, between when you make a choice between an indoor catering and an outdoor catering, the major category you want to focus on. So A can be your outdoor catering category. B can be the major niche you want to focus on, like the five different niche which I was mentioning about, starting from weddings, social events, live events, industrial catering, and institutional catering. Now, out of these 5 different kinds of catering, you can further come on to the C part of it, which is basically building your micro niche, as mentioned above. You can further delve that if you're doing social events catering, you can probably only focus and build a monopoly on the house party segment, probably, and so on and so forth. So this is what I say, that while you try to identify your micro niche, it will help you build your brand and positioning accordingly. And this is how I sum up my ABC model, where A being your major focus, which is your outdoor catering segment, B being your niche, which can be institutional catering, and C being either a kindergarten school you want to cater for, or probably the colleges you want to focus on, or schools you want to focus on. So that is how we encompass overall ABC model. Just as a quick disclaimer, while I have told you all these points, let me tell you as a caterer, one thing which is very critical to you, for you to understand is, while you're building your niche, it's not mandatory that you have to work within that particular niche. Every now and then, cash is king. So if you're getting business, don't say no to it, but at the same time keep your positioning straight. Sometimes you never know while executing different businesses, or during lean seasons, you can explore a new category of catering. Hypothetically, if a corporate events catering guy is executing a wedding catering, and probably he understands the economics of it, that is a niche he can probably want to build, and sometime probably he can start a new brand which can focus only on the wedding segment. So like I said, cash is king. Focus on doing business, but at the same time be clear that the market wants to work with a specialist and not a generalist. So that's pretty much from my side today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Please tag me on your Instagram stories or LinkedIn posts, and I would be happy to give you a shout out. Feel free to get in touch with me at manvirsinghanand.com. Look forward to the next episode.